Hi there, my name is Ron Rogers, and this presentation is titled Comrade, We've Found an Alien Spacecraft. Now, this couples my time in the Air Force as a T-37 instructor, along with my time as the lead engineer in the microwave technology group, and it also has to deal with military drone-type aircraft. So I cover a few things here, but yeah. Okay, I'm at Vance Air Force Base. I am a brand new second lieutenant T-37 instructor. And SAC, not a lot of people are excited about going to SAC as pilots. And of course, we're graduating pilot classes and they, choose airplanes and stuff like that. And SAC has been getting kind of the bottom of the barrel. So the head of SAC comes and he wants to talk to us. Well, that's pretty darn impressive, especially for somebody who's a second lieutenant. I mean, I'm so many light years away. But anyway, now, okay, I'm flying the T-37. I got to give you a little background on that. Now, you see, this is a class picture here, and yeah, as a T-37 pilot, I would have rather stood next to an F-15 or something at the time, but okay. You got the T-38 on the left there. That's great. They got the business jet. We didn't have that back then. It was you flew the 37 and the 38, but here these guys put a combine in the picture. They must have not liked the T-37. Okay, well, okay, I can't really blame them because the T-37 is ugly. Combine's ugly. It holds two people. Combine holds two people. It converts fuel into noise. Yeah, that's a T-37. And it doesn't go very fast. But okay. The general's here, and he's given a presentation on SAC, and that's really wonderful. And then it opens up to question and answer period. Well, one of the students asks a question, which was quite an interesting question, I thought. He says, well, when you guys go over to bomb Russia, how do you navigate? And my assistant flight commander, Thornton, sitting next to me, leans over and says, I got to see how he answers that because this is classified. Well, it did have kind of a classified background because, you don't go to the Russian AAA store and say, hey, I'd like to get some maps of Russia, no reason, just like to get some maps of Russia. So the Air Force had to develop their own maps, and okay, Russia at the time, they weren't as excited about sharing all this data. So, well, how do you get terrain data over in Russia? If they don't publish all this in AAA? Well, they were pretty sneaky. Oh, by the way, I'm playing with artificial intelligence here, so that's generating these pictures. I didn't hand draw these or anything. It's kind of cool. I don't think any satellite would ever look like that in space, but anyway, okay. What we did, the U.S. did back in, 50s, well, probably not too early 50s because we didn't have satellites yet, but 60s or so, they sent up these satellites to map Russia. So they're doing radar mapping of Russia. Well, the interesting thing was Russia is detecting these signals, and they go, oh my gosh, this must be an alien civilization or an alien craft or something like that. Well, I don't know when they quite figured out what it really was, but it was kind of confusing. It was kind of humorous at the time because it was UFO, if you would, spottings that, they weren't really UFOs. So anyway, the general gives some sort of explanation about they have data or something like that. I forget exactly what he said, but it kind of it glossed over the whole thing. But anyway, we had a good way of navigating over there. So you've seen Dr. Strangelove, and that I actually loved that movie. That's a lot of fun, especially if you've had a couple of beers. And I don't know why they show a C model there on the refueling doing a force disconnect because he gets so far out of position. I mean, this is what the Air Force provided for a movie. I mean, it's pretty bad flying. Okay, I digress. Now let's get on to what I'm really talking about here. And this is a little project I was handed as lead engineer in the microwave technology group. Got a lot of these little things, and they said, hey, we got an issue here. Okay, well, this is back before GPS. Okay, you had to navigate your little. Oh, and by the way, I tried to get artificial intelligence to give me a cruise missile flying low over through mountainous terrains, and it objected to that. It says no, that's offensive. I go, really? Okay, well, how about a ALCM, Air Launch Cruise Missile? The abbreviation, maybe that'll sneak by. And it started to process this as, nope, that's, we can't do that. So, okay, I guess they like predators or whatever. This isn't sort of like a predator. But anyway, okay, it let me do this one. So, okay, how do you navigate this little sucker over there? Well, uh, and I asked for a model of a drone with a radar antenna on it, and this is what I got. Okay, that's cute. That's really cute. You get a little gust of wind and that thing would be so out of control. Okay, that's what they did. I thought it was kind of humorous, so I kept it. Well, anyway, okay. Well, what you do is you can put a little radar antenna on this, and it can do essentially terrain, avoidance terrain following type of maneuver. And it's got the database in its memory, so it knows where it's going. It knows what its target is. It just doesn't fly around looking for something. It knows where it's going to go. So it's got its route planned out. It's got its terrain base there, but to make sure it really is where it thinks it is, because the navigation systems back then, laser wing gyros, inertial navigation, they weren't the best. Anybody who's flown that in airliners, no, they get off. So they needed a way to kind of upgrade it, and what you do is buy a radar fix. So this thing travels along with its little radar. It's looking out there, and it compares what it sees on the radar to what it's got in its database. Of course, now with GPS and stuff, you don't really need this so much. But the interesting thing about the problem is, well, what radar do we want to use? Well, you know what? You don't want this thing to be detected. So you want to use a high frequency radar. So I'm talking about, I kind of went to the end of the bands there to look at this, and I'm going, okay, I want really high frequency, like 200 gigahertz, 220 gigahertz. I mean, this at the time was the limit of the frequencies that we could get kind of components for. And it's very difficult up there. The attenuation or signal loss is so high. But see, this is the advantage of using this as a radar, and this is the idea I came up with, was if you're very high frequency, the atmospheric attenuation is really high. So this thing can be flying through the valley, mapping the valley out to know where it's at, but if you're any distance at all away from it, I mean a distance that you're not going to hear it, because you'd probably hear it come before you'd actually be able to pick up its radar signature. The attenuation is so high, and this is in a band that people don't typically monitor. So if you want to be stealthy, you just use a super high frequency band that has real high attenuation, and you can kind of sneak in there and, once again, bring American technology to our foreign friends. Okay, so my electrical engineering friends, my radar friends, my military aviation friends, and people who like the T-37 instructor tail friends, I hope I gave you something to chew on. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.